I think so, and we've got 4 women within 41 seconds coming into today's race, but then there's quite a gap to 5th place to Katarina Hennig, and she's down, 123 behind. But I agree, I think the points allocation and the times allocation this year is the best.
So Frida Karlsson will be going first. Just wondering which race that they've had this year already do you think is the best indicator of what's going to happen here today?
Well, normally I would look at the Davos 20, which, yes, it's a similar profile, 702 metres climb here. I think it was 737 in Davos, but that was a time trial. Jessie Diggins won that one. Maybe to Lillehammer, but that was classic. So I still think that the favourites in terms of pure track speed should be Frida Karlsson, who leads out.
Yeah, I think we're going to have, it'd be interesting to see whether Karlsson can stay ahead of the 3 behind her. If she does, it will be a similar scenario to the one we saw in Ruka. And then I'm expecting a fairly stiff competition for the 2 remaining places on the podium. And should one of Palmakoski-Kalva or Weng fail, then we've got a strong group of athletes. Niskanen, Hennig, Stadlober, Ter Dawson, Eva Urwitz. We've got Heidi Weng all starting just 20 seconds down on Tyrrell Udnes-Weng, so they could do something if they work as a team. It's not likely to be the sprinters' paradise that the men's race turned into. Sprinters in 1, 2 and 3 in a 20-kilometre race. Doesn't quite make sense.
It's strange. A lot of tactics. I'm not sure we'll see the same tactics here, but Palmakoski-Kalva, Weng, as Tyrrell Udnes-Weng, they'll desperately hope they can try and haul in Karlsson.
Ter Dawson, 28-year-old, Urwitz of Slovenia from Bled. Urwitz didn't start in Davos. Heidi Weng, well, one of the most experienced here, along with Niskanen, but Heidi Weng, in terms of podiums, definitely the most successful in the field. The countdown started. 23-year-old Frida Karlsson, who comes from Sollefteå, is underway. Her partner William Paroma raced this morning, finished 7th. Karlsson will want better than that. Palmakoski goes 2nd, 17th, 18th, and then 2nd in yesterday's race. So the Tour is looking better for her. Tyrrell Udnes-Weng, no longer in the yellow bib as the Tour leader. Number 7 waiting to go. Teresa Stadlober over on the far side. Katarina Hennig will get away first though, followed by Stadlober, then Ter Dawson. 40 seconds gone already. Niskanen and Hennig together. Mike, who do you think will do the work there?
Well, I think they're going to have to share. Hennig, I think, will be up for this. I know she's more a classic, outstanding classic skier, but she's at home on home snow, and she wants revenge today.
Heidi Weng, Rosie Brennan, Slind of Norway, Bergan of Norway as well. New name, under 23 athlete, Aiduka, going for Latvia. Had a chat with her before the race, and she seemed fairly confident. Wasn't as happy as she might have been with the way that things have gone so far. There's Aiduka just starting 14, 16. Nadine Feindrich, who's pretty much holding her own. Last year she was in 18th in the Tour at this stage. This year she's in 16th. Kylan goes for Switzerland, just ahead of Delphine Claudel. I expect to see Claudel climb the order today, and she had a good last year. She was in 11th, at the moment down in 20th, so she'll want to improve, won't they all?
As this tail enders begin to depart, already Palmakoski has actually pulled back 0.8 of a second. It's not much, but she's really trying to close her down.
Calva is at 16, having started at 18, so she is gaining. Tyrrell Udnes-Veng at 16.8, having started at 20. So Tyrrell Udnes-Veng, the fastest starter out there. My Dahlqvist a long, long way off the pace. Really, I suspect that Dahlqvist, Mike, is just keeping it going for the next stage, stage 5, which is another sprint, and then I think she might hang up the skis.
Yes, I think she might do. It was so good to see Jessie Diggins start just 1 second before the wave, so Jessie Diggins just out of camera shot, and I think Jessie Diggins can do something today to get her confidence back and maybe even close down on many of those before her, because I think that is a task that is achievable.
Well, you win the first part of the bet we had yesterday, because I really didn't think Diggins would race today. I heard an interview where she said she was racing to set an example to the younger skiers, as in stick at it, however bad it's going. I'm not sure an example isn't to reevaluate, look at your goals, and if they're not coming off, reset your goals. But we'll see today. If you're right, Mike, she's already 4 minutes behind the leaders of the Tour. She's not going to win the Tour this year. That is absolutely certain. So, what would be a good race for Diggins?
Yes, well, I think to contain the damage, so yes, she's 4 minutes behind overall, but remember, she's only 3 minutes behind position 5. She'll be looking at the positives. And she did say last night that she's lucky to feel that the body is still in a good place. And she said, so I'm hoping to have a good race today where all the elements, in brackets, both in my control and outside of it, line up. So I think there's more going on than we just see in black and white numbers. I think she'll be at the races today, and I think she'll have a very good race today.
Yeah, well, I assume you're talking about skis. There have been 1 or 2 issues, but bizarrely, the American men had the best skis of everyone in the race yesterday, and consequently got their best ever result in terms of numbers in the top 20. So that was interesting. There's the trio that we are expecting to work together: Calva, Veng and Palmakoski.
I know who skis I would prefer, but it's certainly Palmakoski's looking good right now. Slipstream.
Definitely feeding off that. She's a good downhiller though, isn't she, Palmakoski?
She is good, and I think from what it sounds like, they have salted the track, so therefore there's ice crust on the top. Be interesting to watch these three coming down the fast descents into the stadium.
Frida Karlsson holding her own at the moment. Calva was at 21 seconds, so having started very hard in the first 500, Karlsson's starting to turn the screw now, and we'll get another split at, we'll get plenty of splits today. There's no shortage of that. We'll keep you fully informed as to the progress of the chasing three. The other question, Mike, is will those behind, Niskanen, Hennig, Stadlober, Ted Dawson, who started pretty much all 40 seconds behind, here they are they going to be able to do some damage to that the chase group?
Do you know, on paper you would look at it and you'd kind of analyse, well, no, they can't, they're not fast enough, but this pursuit aspect of the competition, it really does make you to put everything on the table, and if you can survive closing the lead time down, then you can survive in the slipstreams when more of you create a pack and ski together.
Yeah, the pack moves faster downhill. I don't think it makes any effort uphill. I think on the flats it does help to be able to tuck in behind someone, and provided they share the lead, they will be okay. Number 5 there is Kerttu Niskanen, second in stage 2 of the Tour this year. That was a good effort from her, having finished 12th in the sprint.
Yes, and Niskanen on her best day, she is very accomplished in terms of freestyle, not quite as good as her wins that she's had, all in classic style. But momentum, this group can work together. Hennig, I'm surprised that she was trying to go wide and get past this group, but the energy's not there yet. Well, Karlsson Patrick has set a fearsome pace, so they got close to her, or they closed down a little. Now Karlsson's opened it up to 20 seconds.
Yeah, good work from Karlsson on that long climb, which is where she is so strong. Really hoping that Karlsson sticks with the Tour. That I can't believe she'll pull out, because her success in the overall at the end of the season really does depend on her picking up some good points on the final day of this Tour.
Oh, yes, but she will be tired. In fact, they're all, without a doubt, the latent fatigue in their legs from yesterday. It's a real thing. 10 kilometres classic yesterday at big pace, and then the next day double the distance on this course. It's a challenge.
Yeah, Calver just dropping off there, Mike. She's let a 7-8 metre gap appear, but she may be able to close it down again on the flat. Through goes Karlsson. 21.1 was the split at the last checkpoint at the top of the hill. Have the chasers managed to close it at all? If they're going to do it, it will be on the downhill sections. And Tyrrell Udnesveng takes control. Back to 16.8. So the 3 quicker than 1 on the way down the hills. Whether they can keep that gap shrinking on the climb up to the 2.1 kilometre stage, we will see. So a tactical drink there from Tyrrell Udnesveng, sees Palmakoski back in front reluctantly. And this is the second chase group. Hennig doing her bit at the front. They have to share the lead, Mike. Ideally, they'd change every 400-500 metres.
That would be ideal. Then you get a little reprieve. Quite difficult, isn't it, to manoeuvre quickly. It's not like cycling where you can quickly just drop off and the next one comes through. You need to be an organised team to make that happen, and they're not working really as a team yet.
Heidi Weng at the back has closed 17 seconds on the leaders. There was a failed drink stop. That's frustrating. And they're going for drinks early. 1, because it's a 20k, and 2, because the weather is so warm. Up just under 8 degrees at the moment here in Oberstdorf.
Just further back, Patrick, Jessie Diggins is moving well from 40th to 34th, so a very, very, very much an attacking start.
Diggins at 2:09 last time, so she's gaining places, Mike, but not gaining any time. And as far as the Tour de Ski goes, the time is important. Karlsson still pushing hard. What do you think? By the time of the climb, Mike, by the top of the climb again, I think we're going to see a gap of something like 25, 30 seconds.
I feel the same. I think so. Nobody's really helping Palmakoski there. Palmakoski's working so hard at the front. A little bit of lead share would help this group keep momentum, and all the while Karlsson may well be smiling. They're not actually working together on this. There, Palmakoski saying, come on, get through. But they could slow down now, Patrick, dramatically, and then Karlsson will be away.
Yeah, and if she can build a good lead here, then she can relax in Val di Fiemme, maybe not be too concerned about going all the way in the sprint race and save something for the final 2 stages. That could be interesting.
As we maybe felt here, this second chase group, they needed real momentum, but it was short. They had to put a lot of power in to try and close down Palmakoski's group, but it's not to be. Now they're well detached.
Yeah, they're 50 seconds or so behind the race leader, but more crucial, 50 seconds behind the second group of 3 that are in your picture now. So that's a huge gap, and I think most people expecting that to happen as a race scenario. The only one that I couldn't find people consistently answering was, would these 3 catch Karlsson? I think the majority feeling that they wouldn't.
It feels that way. Palmakoski, the most experienced in that chase group, she knows they have to really hurt now, but they need to work together and then break the spirit of Karlsson, and they're close. It's a very fine balance, isn't it? Palmakoski's well aware that she needs to put Karlsson under pressure, and mentally it will affect Karlsson.
Palmakoski, 32. You've got Calver at the back of this group at 30, and then the youngster Tyrrell Udnesveng in the middle at 26.
I love the way that Calver skates. She's just so easy. Big compression through the left side, lovely floating glide on the transfer to the right. Well, is it Hennig that's going to be the leader of the big chase groups, the third chasers?
Not for long. Urlevets of Slovenia just moving out to the right, finding a slightly firmer bit of snow. 11 going through in the USA colours is Rosie Brennan, who comes from Alaska. Not the majority, but a large percentage of the American skiers from Alaska, understandably. And Brennan had a brilliant day out in Davos, Mike.
Oh, that was brilliant. She's so tough. When it comes to a tough grind, she keeps on punching. And yes, third place in Davos. The strength of Urvets at the front there, number 9, the sprinter. You can just feel the strength in her legs.
Now, are they closing at all? 12 seconds was the margin at the last split at 4.6. We'll get another one at the top of this hill. I think that's going to be 5.4. And is it due to the fact that Turlund Nesveng has taken over the leadership? Palmakoski looks comfortable sitting behind. Calva looks to have recovered. Don't know whether she made a mistake on the way down the hill. Just while we're watching them climb the hill, a quick word about Andy Musgrave. Was in a brilliant position, led the men's race for a lot of the final lap, but then got swallowed up by the group coming over the penultimate summit. And actually, I think it was one of the Italians skied over his ski, and anyone who's been in that situation know that your ski stops dead. He was down on his knees, came to a complete standstill, and 20 athletes went past him in the blink of an eye.
Oh, it was so sad. I could have cried. He was there or thereabouts with just, a kilometre, 1.5 to go, and you can't afford making mistakes at that stage. Just noticed on the first lap, Jessie Diggins had pulled 2 seconds back off Karlsson's time, so she's having an absolute all-out charge today, and I think that's very good news for Jessie Diggins.
I can't believe it. Credit to her. She looked a spent force yesterday.
I love the saying she came out with last night as well. She said, if the seas were always calm, we would never build a better boat. So she doesn't mind the waves, but quite tough. She certainly feels there is pressure, of course, and a lot of negativity being talked about her. She, with winning this tour and the medal she's won at the Olympics, it must be a lot of pressure.
Now, Karlsson gets a very good look, and she will see that the group are a little bit further up the hill than they were last time round, but she's still at around 15 seconds. 14.2 was the last split at 5.4, and we'll get another readout as they come through the stadium. This group, they still haven't really agreed to work together. Calva hasn't taken her share at the front. Whether it's because she doesn't want to or whether she can't, we don't know. But I suspect she is hanging on at the back by a thin thread. There's Jessie Diggins leading that group, now at 1:56.
She's up to 17th. Amazing.
Yeah, great positional climb from Diggins. And if she can, she's skiing at the same speed effectively as these 4 up the front. So the time is vitally important if she's going to close that gap that was sitting at 4 minutes 17 at the start of today.
Yes, that's a 14-second gain from Diggins on Karlsson, so that really is a back on track performance.
Well, interesting situation again, Mike, as they come down. It's really a result of the big hill that leads into the downhill here. Calva dropping off the back of her little group of 3, and that doesn't bode well for the finish unless it's a tactical move to conserve some energy on the steepest of climbs.
Yes, and maybe that is Calva's reason for not taking on any of the lead work. Her skis possibly a little slow. Palmakoski at the front of the chasing group. This is amazing. They really are breaking now, Karlsson, and that's a big game changer.
Yeah, Karlsson's decided to wait for them, I think, because under normal circumstances she would not just go down into the tuck. She would have given 3 or 4 seconds of maximum effort to increase her speed on the downhill. So I think Karlsson's decided it's too far to go. They're on to lap 3 of 6, and we have a group of 4 at the front. And you've got to remember, Mike, tomorrow is a sprint, or in 2 days' time is a sprint, and that suits Tyrrell Udnesveng. Welcome back. There have been some changes here in Oberstdorf. The unlikely has happened, and Frida Karlsson has been caught by Parmakoski, Tyrrell Udnesveng, and Kalva of Norway. Kalva hasn't contributed to that second group. Parmakoski probably done the bulk of the donkey work, but Tyrrell Udnesveng has also had her period in front, and she's now sitting in third. Are they going to sit behind Karlsson and just say, okay, this will suit us fine? But they've got to bear in mind, Mike, the time of the athletes behind will reduce their lead in the Tour.
They do need to keep sharp. Oh, there we go. And do you know what? The depth of experience, 10 Tour de Ski finishes for Parmakoski. She knew she had to throw everything at closing that gap, or it reduced her chance of yet another podium in the Tour de Ski. She's had 1 time second, 1/3 in the Tour de Ski, and 5 times fourth. So for me, Parmakoski is looking good for a podium this year.
Yeah, well, wouldn't it be lovely if she actually managed to win it? I think it would be a very, very popular victory indeed. So often she's been the bridesmaid, and she's, you know, a fantastic example to everyone out there. Similar sort of attitude to Jessie Diggins, really, when it comes to racing. Hennig at 103.
It's a tough physical sport, isn't it? And you really need a very tough mental attitude, and Parmakoski is full of that.
Yeah, no gains by that second group between 6.6 and 7.1, Mike. So the leaders are still moving along nicely. At the top of the hill next time, we'll see whether they can get the gap down to under a minute.
This is as this train will slow down. I think this is great news for Jessie Diggins. Time-wise, she'll be able to close down the points on the lead, although they're picking the pace up again.
Parmakoski going very wide. It's not quite as steep if you take a wider line. Karlsson strong, great at the uphills, goes on the inside line and goes from 4 up into 2. So I think Karlsson actually deciding she did not want to be stuck behind Kalva, who already on 3 or 4 occasions has looked as though she's going to drop off the pace.
I'm amazed with Parmakoski, just totally didn't rest for long behind Karlsson, but being fully aware the pace needs to be strong, and I think she wants to get rid of Kalva, realising that Kalva is hurting.
Well, Parmakoski starting the Tour today in 7th place, 1:43 behind the Tour leader Frida Karlsson, so she has to do something impressive today. Last year she was in 7th again, but she was only 44 seconds off the leader on that occasion.
Just looking further back, Patrick, Jessie Diggins up to 17th now. She's pulled a full 30 seconds off Karlsson's time. So she's clearly feeling good out there. And I think every time she gets a split time, that'll re-energise her and she'll keep on attacking.
Yeah, I think you're just rubbing salt in the wound.
Well, she's having the race of the whole field. She's faster than anybody on the track.
Yeah, and remember, she was the one that came out on top in Davos in the 20k freestyle there. A time of 48.43, only 5 seconds ahead of Usberg, who's not in the Tour, and it was Rosie Brennan, her teammate, who was in 3rd place, 11 seconds behind. So we'll try and pick up on Rosie Brennan. There she is, wearing 11, just sitting behind Urvets and looking reasonably comfortable at the moment.
And I think, looking further back, those chasing in the 4th chase group, they'll see that 3rd chase group without momentum, without energy at the moment, no leader, and that's good news for Feindrich, Aiduka, Bergan, and of course Jess Diggins is in that little group as well, so they could really move up and take advantage. Karlsson trying to get a little cheeky gain here on the inside. Her spirit will be broken, Patrick, won't it? You know, to have started and gone out, right, this is my race game, and that didn't work. So she'll be rethinking her strategy.
Well, that wasn't the best of lines. She's still got a time, though. And, yeah, I think Karlsson maybe pushed a little bit too hard initially. And you can't overestimate just how much easier it is to ski in even a small group than it is on your own.
Yes, on your own, and especially out front on your own, it's a lonely race. You're not really aware of a visual of how everybody else is feeling, and we're aware quickly how somebody looks when they're running or skiing, and that information wasn't there for Karlsson.
Yeah, it makes
Koski.
She's skiing really well down. Yeah, very good ski. She's skiing so well downhill as well. And I was just going to say, Mike, Klæbo's win in Valmestad, when he started first and finished first, it just shows you how impressive that performance was.
Oh, it was incredible. He felt, he said he knew that Paul Goldberg was closing down fast, and he had to dig deeper and deeper. And I think that just shows that Klæbo is the real deal at every level.
So Palmakoski leading. Tyrrell Udnesveng in second place. We got Frida Karlsson in third, and
where are they?
Well, they're cheering on Katarina Hennig, number 6 there. Looks trying to get a little bit of video footage, but yeah, credit to them. It's the one thing we're missing, is a few spectators out on the tracks.
Yeah, and a warm day actually, isn't it, for spectators? Above 7.5 degrees now. Quite incredible. I thought Karlsson was beginning to drop back there, but clearly it was just relaxing on the downhill section.
Three of the top 4 from the second stage in that leading group of 4. So the chasers go round, and Calver at 1.7. So the second stage, Mike, in Valmestad was won, of course, by Tyrrell Udnesveng, her first World Cup win. We had Karlsson in there, we had Calver in there, and Niskanen was in with a shout. So they've just swapped the fin. We put in Palmakoski and taken out Niskanen.
And Niskanen should be in this group here.
I think she is. Is that her sitting just behind Urovets?
It doesn't feel like there's big energy in this group, does it? And the chase group there, they're only 20 seconds behind. I think they're closing it down. This group could have company quite soon.
Well, Niskanen leading that group actually, and Slovenia and Finland with similar colour suits. Another liquid stop, and Niskanen making sure she gets enough this time round. All her wins have come in classic, and all have come over 10 kilometres. So they're on to lap 4. And Palmakoski still looks to be pushing the pace. Tyrrell Udnesveng, I think her race plan was clear, wasn't it, Mike? Stay with whoever's leading.
That was her plan, wasn't it? Just, I think she was hoping and expecting Palmakoski would really attack, and that's why when Tyrrell Udnesveng left the gate, it was like a sprint race for her. She knew she had to get in there quickly. Palmakoski hasn't backed off much, has she? She's still pressing this so hard.
Yeah, just looking, there was a question mark over Frida Karlsson's skis, but as you can see there, they're going nicely. She's not as strong over the top of the hills, Mike, and I'm wondering whether that's because she's still suffering from the pace she tried to set on the first 2 laps.
I think I'm with you. I think she will be suffering. I'm confidence knocked. Parmakoski there said to Tira Udnes, come past, please lead. Tira Udnes didn't want to.
Yeah, I think it was a 2-letter word, beginning in N.
Yeah.
Or is it 3 letters in Norwegian? I think it's probably 3.
Nei.
N-E-J. There's Hennig.
Interesting race. Brennan now being the leader, she's the worker. So this pace should be aware that those chasers are nearly there, led by Jess Diggins. So Brennan's realising we need to pump this up.
Yeah, otherwise they're all going to lose a substantial number of places. Number 9 was Urvitz just going through. She didn't race in Davos, incidentally, sitting 16th in the Tour. So if she can just match the pace of the leading 4, that's okay. Calva again is detached, and it's been a really, really tough race for Calva. And with 2 laps still remaining after this one, Mike, she could get swallowed up by the group behind, even though there's a minute and 8 between her and the group behind. I think she may find she loses all of that.
You know, and it's amazing how quickly it can be lost. Once the gap is there, the 3-5 metre gap is there, it breaks your spirit.
11.2, they are comfortably over the halfway stage. That will certainly be a little boost, a positive in their minds as they suffer the pain of working so hard for almost half an hour now.
Oh, I feel for Parmakoski. She now is, as you say, nearly half an hour. She needs some help. She's practically being attacking over this 20-kilometre course for 28 minutes, and she needs someone else to lead.
Winning time this morning, 41.35. The fastest time, well, Pellegrino we know was 40.34. Lapierre had a great run, 40.29. Andy Musgrave would have been very, very close had he not been tripped up in the closing stages. 41.09 was Musgrave's time in their 20k this morning.
Calva is suffering. She's desperately trying to pull it back on the easier terrain, but it's really not closing.
Yeah, I think she needs to find her own pace, get the breathing and the pulse back down to manageable levels, and just forget about the fight with the leading 3. That's going to be a brutal fight right the way to the line, Mike, and it doesn't look as though they want Karlsson to be involved, because I think Karlsson's probably the quicker sprinter of those lot, although Tura Ludnesveng has had a fair amount of success in the sprints this year.
She certainly has, and this is the now group. It was much bigger, but the pace is hurting most of them, and Jessie Diggins looks tired at the front there. She's wanting some help. And Calva, that's game over in terms of podium. And the same with Tura Ludnesveng. That's a significant time.
Tura Ludnes is suffering as they go through 12 kilometres. A battle between Finland and Sweden. Tura Ludnes, I think, as far as the Tour goes, that could be so damaging, because Karlsson on the current form could take that gap up to 20-30 seconds.
Oh, this is quite amazing, and you would expect Calva and now Tura Ludnesveng to really drop pace, maybe allowing the chase pack to make contact, and an opportunity for those who started quite a long way behind to gain a lot today.
Yeah, look at that margin. It's huge now as they go down the hill, back down towards the stadium here in Oberstdorf. Parmakoski looking fantastic, and you've got to remember that Parmakoski did the bulk of the work to close that gap down on Frida Karlsson. She started 16 seconds behind the Swede, so the early work, and I think that early work is really what's got to the 2 Norwegians now.
I think you're right, to take a 20 kilometre way above your comfort pace. Runners know the score with that, same with cyclists. If you push it too hard in the first 3-5 kilometres, you really suffer after halfway, and that's what's happening now.
Yeah, Frida Karlsson, just her body language looks more comfortable now that the 2 Norwegians have gone. Calva looks to have relaxed now she's seen that Tura Ludnesveng can't live with the pace. There's a lot of psychology going on out there, but the one who is oblivious to it all all, and the one who is coping best is Krista Palmakoski.
She is. I didn't get the Swedish coach was trying to pass some really necessary information to Karlsson, and Karlsson asked 3 times, "Can't hear you." I didn't get what he said, but I would imagine it's Tira Udnes is now broken, gained some time.
But she's going to be aware of that. They've had enough dead turns to know exactly where she lies relative to Tira Udnes Veng. Maybe they're trying to give us some information about the overall standings, because there are 1 or 2 trying to calculate that at the moment. What,
we're just over halfway, really. It's going to be a very interesting final third of this race.
10 Sekunden, 14 seconds behind Palmakoski and Karlsson. What about Kalva?
So Tira Udnes Veng already 14 seconds behind.
14 seconds behind Veng.
So Karlsson, Veng and Kalva, incidentally Marcic of Poland, Liljenperä of Finland and Catherine Sauerbrey pulling out. Didn't start the race today. Karlsson with a good gulp of water. Karlsson a little bit unpredictable on the downhills, Mike. So I'm not sure Palmakoski will want to tuck in right behind her.
No, we've seen situations, and on this track, the World Championships, on the right-hander before the finish, Karlsson taking, in the sprint I think it was, taking down one of the Russian athletes. He was not happy.
Well, no chance of that happening today.
Yeah. There goes Jess Diggins, 13th position. That is quite amazing.
Yeah, she may well get herself up into the top 5. She started 40th, remember. She's having an absolute stormer today. Coming through the 13.7 kilometre stage here, just over 6 kilometres to go in the women's 20k. Frida Karlsson, Palmakoski have been battling it out for the last 10 minutes. They've shaken off the 2 Norwegians, Kalva and Veng, and I don't think there's any comeback for the Norwegians now. With Karlsson and Palmakoski sharing the lead, the teamwork is much better. Now it's a group of 2 rather than 4.
Yes, and Tira Udnes Veng at the start of the day, in real terms, in terms of Tour de Ski, she was 20 seconds behind, and she's lost a further 29 seconds in the last 2 kilometres.
Yeah, that margin could be up to a minute, but if she can recover, she might be able to claw some of that back with an impressive run in the sprint in Val di Fiemme, which is the next stage. Just give you the details. We've got a sprint in Val di Fiemme on Friday. Saturday is the 15-kilometre mass start, classic style, on difficult World Championship tracks there. And then Sunday, of course, is the climb up the Alpe d'Huez, a 9-kilometre race, 4 kilometres of which is up a downhill slope. It's a brutal finish to the Tour, but you never quite know what to expect. I think it's much better now that it's a mass start, Mike, rather than a pursuit.
It is, and it's a much better spectacle, isn't it? All these tired athletes starting the final 9-10 kilometres of the Tour de Ski. This is going to be an interesting segment in the race. Jessie Diggins having made contact with the chase group. She'll hopefully rest in it, and I think she could well recover and then try and press through all of this group. It needs a leader.
So I don't think there's any doubt about the gold and silver today. They're going to be shared between these 2 athletes. Your money, Mike, I'm assuming it's on Karlsson because Palmakoski has done so much of the leading.
Oh, I feel for Palmakoski. When Karlsson went ahead of her with what looked like a very firm pace, I thought Palmakoski would rest in, just let herself be dragged along, recover, but no, she's reducing her chances, I think, of taking this stage.
Yeah, there's Jess Diggins over on the far side. You can pick the style out, doing some V2 with extra long glides. Rosie Brennan just moving up on the left, trying to track her teammate. These are the two Norwegians who were with the leaders. Turla Nisveng desperately trying to hold on to third position. It's an incredible season that Turla Nisveng has had so far this year. Well, she had 5 times in fourth.
Oh, yeah, she's had a great season, regular every day, but this being such a long distance, the longest in the women's Tour de Ski history, this now can really hurt the athletes for the final 3 days in Val d'Yvem.
So Diggins takes control of the chase group.
Amazing,
yeah.
Fighting for third.
Well, look, you know, the way they're moving, they may well catch the leaders. And Heidi Weng's in there as well, Mike. Just looking for some of the other higher bib numbers that have made their way up through the groups. Heidi Weng on the left of your picture, leading her row. And you've got Jess Diggins on the far side, leading her column, not her row. And in the middle is Calver, who, of course, was with the leaders initially. So a bad day for her. Great race from Urbits of Slovenia.
Yeah, she's finding her spirit in distance racing. Quite amazing.
Actually, that was Slind, not Calver, that was just being caught. And we'll get an update on Calver's position. She is still, she's still 35 seconds clear, Mike, but certainly not safe with just under 5 to go.
No, and that's Monica Skinder just being passed there. She'll have to pull out. In fact, there she is turning right.
Yeah, that's the end of her Tour de Ski. Once you've been lapped in a race, shouldn't really be a problem over a 3.3 course, but on the 2.5s in Valmestad, there was some concern.
Just realised, sorry, I said earlier, Jess Diggins pushing for third. Of course, there's still Turla Nisveng and Calva taking up at the moment positions 3 and 4.
That's what put me off. Do not forget those two Norwegians. They are still safe at the moment for the minor places. We've got Weng at 39 seconds back. Actually, that's now gone to 52, so the margins are growing, and you can see the chasers behind. Oh my goodness, only 1 lap to go, but it's a long lap for Calva, who's now at 101. She's lost 12 seconds over the last 800 metres, Mike. She's going down. Diggins' group is going to catch her without a doubt.
That's incredible. So incredible. And Calva, she knew she had to try and live with the pace, but it was way above her comfort zone.
Frida Karlsson back to her normal self after a little bit of a low ebb going through laps 3 and 4. She's back into race mode again, which is bad news for Palmakoski, but Palmakoski hanging on in there. And Turla Nisveng, she's going to get that sinking feeling when she sees the chasers, and she might find out, she might just see who is leading that chase group, and that will be a big concern to Turla Nisveng.
It will. Palmakoski really needs a drink now. She missed it last time, so I hope she lines up well to catch her drink bottle. Yeah, if Karlsson doesn't go for a drink and Palmakoski does, we might see a little gap appear. Just 3.3 to go. Is it maybe a drink for a feel-good factor? Yeah, go on. You need it. Rosie Brennan chasing Jess Diggins, who's just planted the pole in between her skis. She did incredibly well not to go down there. It's a common mistake, but it won't have helped, and it's allowed Rosie Brennan to close the gap. Now Katarina Hennig is starting to push the pace as well. They can see Calver ahead of them. They know they're going into the top 4, and then it's a fight for the podium places because Turla Nisveng is still struggling ahead.
Well, this is going to be some climax, and those fans that have turned out to watch this one being treated to an absolute classic women's pursuit. Tyrrell-Udnesveng at 53 seconds, going through 16.5. As we look at the standings at 15.3, we've got Calver at 101. So Calver not losing any more time on the descent down into the stadium. I think she could probably hear that group behind her, Mike, and that seems to have put a little bit of life into her legs. Here come the masses. Are they getting any closer? It was 135 last time we saw. It's still at 136, so losing a little bit of ground on the descent down into the stadium. If they want a shot at the podium places, they've got to do the gains on the big climb out of the stadium. They've got 2,100 metres to get in touch with the top three.
You know, I think psychologically it's advantage to the Jess Diggins group with Tyrrell-Udnesveng looking behind. Her body language says she's spent, and the same with Calver, and it's like the hunting pack are sensing they're very tired ahead of them. Yes, Parmakoski's beginning, Patrick, I think, to feel the pain now.
Well, it's about time. She's put in some shift today.
Oh, then she's got good skis still.
Yeah, still on a decent pair of planks. Tyrrell-Udnesveng, not for the first time, looking over her shoulder, and Calver hasn't given up on that third place just yet. That's a good recovery from Calver, but here comes the section that she doesn't like. A series of four climbs, and they get bigger and bigger as they go, which will take them up to that mark just over the 2 kilometre stage. It's relatively easy after that. It's not easy, but it's relatively easy, and there you see the chasers. It's still a good margin, Mike, and like every interval session, the last one seems so much easier than the one before it.
It does, but I mean the legs are tired from yesterday, the legs are tired from Saturday and Sunday, and it's latent fatigue now.
Yeah, and Calver goes through. Are the two Norwegians going to work together? Tyrrell-Udnesveng could do with tucking in straight away. She does exactly that. Good discipline. And those two, I think the fact that they're together gives them a better chance of hanging on to positions 3 and 4.
You know, I don't think we've ever had such an exciting Tour de Ski in the women's field. Normally there's one athlete out there in front, untouchable. This year there's many attacking, and it's changing regularly. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but Tyrrell-Udnesveng, Mike, already behind after Val Mister, is now 1 minute and 7 behind. That may grow to around 1 minute 15, something like that. Does that make Karlsson your favourite?
It does and it doesn't. I do. My concern is the lasting power of Karlsson. With respect, she's still young. She hasn't completed the Tour before, and she's put a lot more intensity, I feel, into this time round than she has previously.
But Parmakoski's going to be in a good position after today.
We always say the farmer's daughters are the toughest, and that's what Parmakoski is.
Yeah, it's certainly the case in Norway. Marit Bjørgen, not sure about Therese Johaug.
Yeah, she was as well. Yeah. Or is. Well, they seem to have got some life back, don't they? They've got company.
Yeah, I think that helps, because they do so many sessions working together. There's a sort of sense of familiarity about it. There's no familiarity here. Sweden versus Finland. We've got Karlsson, who is the tour leader, up against Finland's probably Finland's best ever. I think Kerttu Niskanen might claim that. Don't forget that Kaloinen won the Tour de Ski twice, and now Karlsson's gone for an early run for home, Mike.
Oh, she's read that well, hasn't she? She went to the firmer snow on the right side. I'm surprised Parmakoski didn't feel that one coming.
Yeah, Karlsson with 6 wins in her career. If Parmakoski can win this, she will go on to 6 wins and 36 podiums. But it does look at the moment as though Karlsson, who started first, has recovered. That's a really effective break. That's what Musgrave wanted this morning, Mike, when he put the pedal down. There wasn't, he accelerated dramatically, but everyone went with him.
They did, and this is the decisive part. So many years, and at the World Championships, this was the decisive part of the track. And Palmer-Koski, I think, was caught sleeping there.
Yeah, but also tired, and I think that was inevitable with all the work that she's done. Karlsson has fed off that once she realised she couldn't go it alone, and the gap suddenly from 0.8 of a second has gone up to, what are we going to be, 11.1, but Palmer-Koski's got enough breathing space behind her. We'll get an update on the two behind them. Last time we saw, there was still 1:07 between Palmer-Koski and Calver, and we still had 28 seconds between Tiroludnis Sveng and the chasing group, which contains Urovets, Niskanen, Brennan, Heidi Veng, Jessie Diggins, and Aiduka, the under-23 athlete from Latvia, is in there as well.
Well, that was some turn of pace, wasn't it? Look how tired the positions 3 and 4 are. But Palmer-Koski, once Karlsson pressed down that pace, there was no chance for her.
Calver going down. That's they were 28 seconds. You can cut that to certainly 22, maybe even 18, and that might be a nice little surprise for the chase group when they raise their heads and see how close they are. Last 500-600 meters for Frida Karlsson. She's done the damage. A last little sprint up that brutal climb where we saw Bolshinov and Klæbo fight it out so many times in the World Champs, but Karlsson is safe. Palmer-Koski's going to have to settle for runners-up position again, and Calver and Tiroludnis Sveng have survived, Mike. They've still got one climb to go and a technical downhill section that leads to that climb.
Yes, I think they'll survive, but what a turn of pace here. Karlsson, in just the last 2 kilometres, or 1.4 kilometres, is going to open up a huge lead again. Yeah,
she started 16 seconds clear. She is going to finish at least 8 seconds clear. So no real changes. She stays in yellow for the Tour de Ski. Palmer-Koski on 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Great effort from Palmer-Koski. She deserves the plaudits for her work rate today. She started the day in 7th position in the Tour, 1:43 behind. We'll see what she's managed to do. Tiroludnis Sveng, it's going to be over a minute behind, Mike.
Yeah, that's a huge loss in terms of the overall time. Is that Calver coming through? It is.
Yeah, Tiroludnis Sveng won the last sprint that they were involved in the pursuit in Val Muster, and she's got pole position going around the top of the hill, but when the athlete is on your tail, it's usually better to be in second place.
Yes, Tiroludnis Sveng still feels she's going to take that 3rd slot.
Yeah, she should do. But it's very difficult after a 20k race. That's something they're not used to. Great sprint from Aiduka. Stadlover's gone with her. Diggins trying to hang on in there. 40, just losing ground on that top corner. But Diggins, remember, started in position 40. She's going up into the top 10, I think, without a doubt. And through comes Tiroludnis Sveng to take 3rd place, as you predicted. And Calver has to settle for 4 today. What an effort from the Norwegians. But look at that margin, 1:28. Frida Karlsson's going to be over 1:40 clear. Here they come. Jess Diggins staying low for the 3 skate, but it's not working on this occasion. Urovets is coming strong for Slovenia as well, but it's a brilliant finish from Patricia Aiduka of Latvia. She said she thought there was more in the tank. She's proved herself right. She finishes 6 ahead of Stadlover. Urovets is 7, and Jessie Diggins from 40 up into 8th position. Sensational.